Hello, sorry about the delay. We had some tech problems, so hopefully you ladies can find me. I'm just going to go post in the group. We'll wait for everyone to come on. Welcome, welcome. Just waiting for everyone to join. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties. People are joining. Good. Welcome. Just waiting. We were going to use Zoom and stream it, and for some reason, Zoom wouldn't allow me to do it, or Facebook wouldn't allow me to do it. Hi, Claudia. I'm just waiting for Eileen to come and join, and hopefully we will be able to add her. Just seeing. Hang on, she's just asking me how she joins. Let me just reply to her message. Good old tech problems. We have to laugh. Okay, I've just told her to, yeah, Tech Commons problem. I don't know why I have streamed from Zoom into another group I used to have, so I don't know why it wouldn't work, but it said I didn't have permission, and hi Gaina, how are you? All right, I'm just trying to add Eileen. She said she's here, but I cannot see her. I think, Eileen, there's a button on the bottom where it will ask you to join. I think you can press it and it says ask to join on camera. See if that works, because I can't see you, or if you maybe comment if you're here. Ah, here she is. Okay, let me see if I can add you from there. No. So down the bottom, Eileen, there's a button that I think you press that asks you to be added. I can't. Are you on your phone? You might need to be on your phone if you're not on your phone. Sorry, ladies, for this hiccup, but we will get there, and we are both excited. Now my phone's about to go flat because I wasn't planning. Yeah, you'll need to be on your phone, Eileen. I'm going to have to just get a longer cord. Gosh, we got to laugh. I've just realised my phone's about to go dead. All right, while Eileen is setting up her iPhone, I'm going to go get a longer cord so that I can charge my phone while we're using it. Thank you for your patience, ladies. We have to laugh, otherwise we'll cry. We were all set up beautifully on Zoom. I'd set it all up ready for it to go live into the group, and then it wouldn't work. So, green button on the bottom. There you go, Eileen. Now I can add you. Okay, I'm sending you a request and you're coming on. Hey, Angelique, you don't have to apologise. We've had some technical difficulties, so we haven't even started. Yay, there's Eileen.
Okay,
welcome.
let me get my video. Okay, let's
Oh, there you are. Oh, let's just take a couple of deep breaths. As we settle, good old technical difficulties. There's nothing like trying not to panic when you know you have people waiting, and you've been waiting to do this for the past week. But welcome everybody to our first of first of hopefully many woo woo chats that I organise for our group. At this stage, I'm aiming at once a month to organise a chat with someone who specialises in something. It may potentially be more. So today we have the beautiful Eileen Gatsos here with us. And Eileen, her heart's desire is to unlock the magic we all hold within so we can align with our soul's divine frequency and truth. She is passionate about supporting her clients and the collective in uncovering and stepping into their own divine magic, whatever that may be. She works with the alchemy of energy to attune to the individual and the collective soul's DNA frequency to reveal the soul's truth so it can be fulfilled. Her work connects directly to Source, and she has created a safe space to discover the power of our soul's magic. The sacred alchemic tools that Source has chosen for Eileen to weave magic into the world are soul codes, which are light codes, which we're going to talk about today. Also light language, a unique channeled spoken or written transmission that connects to and activates a particular energy, frequency and vibration. Also soul words, words of inspiration she's guided to write, and her newest addition is beautiful soul music, which she creates with connecting deeply with the soul's DNA, activating a connection to the heart, soul and purpose in life. She's also the creator of a beautiful soul code oracle deck, which is made of 55 sacred light codes of activation and connection. So thank you, Eileen. Welcome.
I've actually
I can't hear you.
Yes, well, I thought. Oh, there, wait. Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay, great. Because there was an
welcome
echo going on. So I've got an
have you got the computer? Have you got the computer still open? You might need to shut the computer down.
It's turned on. The computer.
You keep dropping in and out your sound.
Okay, computer's now turned off. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you kind of drop in and out. Is anyone else having trouble hearing Eileen, or is it me as well?
Let me see. I've still got an echo happening. Yours is delayed as well. I might go out and go back in and see if that helps. Sorry about this, everyone.
It'll be because you've got another speaker on somewhere.
Okay, hold on. Let me just see.
And me. What does that mean, Gaynor? And me. Does that mean and me you can hear it, or and me you can't? This will happen. We're just being tested with patience.
Yep.
Claudia said she can hear you okay. Gaynor said I couldn't hear properly either.
Okay, I'm getting your feed twice, double. I'll go out.
Yep. Maybe go out and I'll try and re-invite you. Hopefully we get this to work.
Let's try again. Is that any better?
How does that go when you hear me now?
I think it's okay. I don't seem to get any echoes now. So that should be okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you beautifully. So
okay. Must have just been that connection. So wonderful.
Thank you everyone for your patience. Thank you so much, Eileen, for coming on and sharing this. This is an area that I find fascinating because I've only probably been introduced to light language in the past few years. And whenever I hear it, I just find it so incredibly soothing and calming, and just something about it that's very special. So I'm so grateful that you're coming on to talk with us today about it. So I guess my first question to you is, what is light language and what are light codes?
Okay, that's a big question. Yeah. It all depends on, for me, light codes and light language is like the language of the universal soul or the individual soul. It connects in with the soul's DNA and our truth deep within, and basically that truth is that we are one, and it's that universal language that's reminding us that we are one with everyone, and if we just listen to it, we can create that unification within and realize that we are all perfect individuals as we are, and we all make up a collective, and together we are the universal energy, we are God, we are source, whatever it is that you want to. So that's, for me, that's how I work with my understanding. It's just that universal language. And the light language is just the vocal representation of that, of it. The codes are its physical representation, and also hand, you can do through hand signing and all that. So it's just all these, the light codes and light language that I work with is soul codes, because I don't know if my light language and light codes is a particular like being family or whatever. I just know mine is just comes from source, and it's from the soul. So it's just the soul language and soul codes, and they just connect to that soul's DNA to remind you of your truth, of your beauty, of your purpose, and of what you're here to do. And that's to be reminded that you are one with everyone, and you are God, the universe, source, whatever it is.
I love that, because that is kind of how I feel when I've listened to it. It's kind of like this deep peace and grounding and knowing and connection that's really hard to explain. And Eileen will give us an example of some light language. She's going to share some beautiful light languages with us in a little while, so you will get to experience it for yourself. So how, your journey, when did you discover you could speak light language? Like, how did that eventuate for you? What happened?
I've got for me, I think I've always done it, but I didn't realise. It's only about 3 years ago that I worked out that that's what I was doing, and that I've got the echo back again. Oh, this is annoying.
Oh, have you? Well, that's really weird. I don't know why it's doing that.
Does anyone else have that issue?
No, I can't hear any echo at all. I can hear you okay.
Yeah, I've got no other thing on either, so it's just really weird.
And you're frozen too.
We're talking about how I got to light language, is that right?
Yeah, how did you discover you could first speak light language? What was your story and experience with that?
Well, about 3 years ago, I was introduced to light codes and light language, and it just felt like a brick hit me in the face and went, oh my God, I've been doing this all my life, and I didn't realise, because I was always a doodler, and I'd doodle weird things, and and sometimes when I was younger I'd speak different, because I was brought up speaking Greek and Macedonian, but I'd also speak other things, and I was just told, oh, that's weird, or if any of those sort of spiritual experiences, were always told that it's the devil, or it's not good, you can't do that, it's again whatever. So those sort of things were pushed back, and you didn't express them. But about, like I said, 2 or 3 years ago, I saw them, and I thought, this feels just so familiar. And just with that familiarity they just started flowing out, and just the drawing ones to start off with. And they were crude at the beginning, they weren't anything fabulous, but then they developed into what I'm doing now. And then the light language came after that, the writing of it, and then the speaking of it. So it was just like it was almost like an unlocking of a gate that had been shut for so many years. And at the beginning, when it first started, it was just like I couldn't stop drawing them. It was just constantly, and I had to go, stop. I have a life. I've got to do things around me. It was literally that overwhelming that I had to start to take control of it, because it was just all coming out. I just had to keep drawing and drawing, and it was almost all the years that I hadn't been doing it, where it was just still getting flooding out. Then eventually, I was able to, get all that backlog out and start doing, you know, doing more and more codes and developing and forming my skills in doing it. So it was just like almost like this one, you know, it's like I said, you know, one little thing, and that just opened the door, and it just all sort of started that way. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So when you said you've done it your whole life, was that just the drawing, the soul codes, or was it also the speaking?
The speaking as well, but it was more like when I was younger, I had a lot of experiences with spirit, with knowings, with, you know, being able to tell people what's going to happen or all that sort of stuff. But being brought up in although my family wasn't highly religious, we were brought up with quite a religious, we were christened in quite a religious religion of Greek Orthodox, and a lot of these things, I guess because they weren't understood, were feared. So yeah, I was told, you know, when I go to bed, I'd always see spirit coming to me, and it would freak me out because I was told that they were, you know, ghosts, or they were, you know, bad. And so all these sort of things happened. So I ended up, you know, hiding it or ignoring it or pushing it aside so that I wouldn't feel abnormal. I felt abnormal enough as it was growing up. You know, I already felt like I didn't belong. So, you know, those things you hid till, you know, later in life you realise, oh, they're your gifts that you were given. They weren't, you know, these bad things that were not, you know, that were evil or bad, or, you know, brought from, you know, yeah.
So I mean, obviously you're sharing your experience with light language and soul codes and your personal knowledge, what your beliefs around them. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that this is a question for me? Is it when people start speaking light language, is it a remembering or are they channeling? I mean, it's probably both. Is it something, do you think our soul anciently knows, or are we channeling it from another source?
Well, I think at first it's a calling home, in a sense, you know, calling home to your soul, to your truth, to back to the universal oneness. And then eventually I think it becomes, you channel it. But I think at first it's that reconnection, it's that remembering. It's like, you know, getting back on the bike after you haven't ridden it for quite a long time. It's about that. I think that's how it first happens, where you get that, your how can I explain it? Yeah, you get that remembrance of, hold on, this is something familiar. This is weird. It's really weird, but geez, it sounds familiar. It just rolls off your tongue. It just rolls off, and you think, this is weird. Doesn't make any sense. But then eventually you get to know that this is, you know, you find out it's light language, and that it's something that you need to share because it's come through to you. But I think at the beginning it's that calling home. It's a remembrance. If you're remembering a part of your soul's toolkit, I guess. I don't know your soul, what your soul's able to do and what it's meant to do, and it's just another way of you connecting back to that, the universal truth of who you are, and, you know, and why we're here. Yeah.
Is it a language of the starseeds, or or something different? I mean, I guess I've recently been doing a lot of reading and discovering my starseed origins. So yeah, I often wonder, is it a language of those original spiritual starseed civilizations?
I guess it's like here, or the way I see it, it's like here on Earth, we all have different languages and different dialects and different ways of speaking. And I find, this is just my understanding, and there's a lot of people have a lot more knowledge on this. I don't really have a great knowledge on the different starseed families and that. All I know is, because I just work with, like I said, the source energy. That's where I come from, and I don't know what thing. But yeah, each starseed has, as far as I understand, and they have different languages that is or a different way of speaking light language or drawing light codes, whatever, that is associated with particular starseed families. Like, you know, so like Lyrian, Acturian,
Lemurians.
Lemurians, you know, Andromedeans, all those different ones. There are so many different star seeds, and and origins. And if you look it up online, it's going down a rabbit hole for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So give yourself some time. For me though, I've never been guided to know which family or starseed origin, because I've been told yours. It's just, for me, it's to working with that soul, that universal source energy, that source energy, and that's where I work from. That's where I've always worked from, connected directly to source. And so a lot of times I don't need to know what, I just need to do and create and do it. So that's how I work. But yeah, there are a lot of people who channel particularly only Atlantean, or they channel Acturians, or they channel Lyrians, or they channel, and that's their specific light language and light codes, and that's what they do, which is fabulous. Like I said, I wouldn't be able to tell you if mine is or not. And to be honest, I don't need to know. All I need to know is that this is the work that I'm doing, and I know it has an effect and an impact, and it's doing what it needs to do. I just say I don't need to know, step myself out of it and just do it. Yeah.
I love that you found that level of faith with it. I really do. And it makes a lot of sense what you're saying to me. If it is that frequency of the soul, then it probably doesn't really matter what star seed it's stemming from, because essentially they've all stemmed from the same source in the first place. And maybe they might sound a little bit different in dialect, like languages, but essentially have the same meaning.
Yeah, exactly.
And portray the same frequencies, but just in a different language, just in a different dialect. So I love like that you found that, Faith.
Yeah. But it's like anything, people feel comfortable with certain things, right? And some people will feel more connected to Atlantean, so that's where their soul's going to be drawn to, and they probably have a soul, like a history with that starseed family somewhere along the line, and because I guess what my understanding is that we're all part of every soul seed family. We're not just part of one. And the more you work with, if you want to work with star seeds and soul seeds and star seeds family, you'll find that you are, because we're all one. We are one, so we are all. So, but we just, like you said, we might just be drawn to a particular family because it feels familiar, And then when you work with them for a while, you'll sort of go, hold on, and then you're like, hold on, I'm everything. I'm not just one. And then it doesn't matter, You can speak all of them. It doesn't really matter which one you're speaking. Yeah.
And it might just be relevant for that part of your journey in this soul life that you're attracted to that soul star family at that time, and then later on you might be attracted to another part. So we had beautiful Becky, who is here with us, has sent in a question, and we might have briefly touched on this a little, but I will ask the question again. Does light language come to you, or is it something you learn to speak?
It's not something I learnt to speak. It just came through. If I tried to learn to speak it, I wouldn't know where I would go to learn it. It's that trust. It's just trusting the what's coming through, and how weird or how pretty or how ugly or how horrible or how nice or how hard it is to speak or how easy to speak doesn't really matter. It just is what comes through you. It's a language that comes through you, and you just have to trust it. And don't worry if it sounds weird to your ears, because at the end of the day, it's about the frequency and the vibration that it holds, and it's about the resonance it has with the soul. The words, are just the vehicle for that frequency.
Thank you for that. And Becky shared with me in that, where I asked questions, her feeling, and this is just opening a discussion, that she said there are soul group languages and there are individual languages unique to a particular soul, a bit like a thumbprint. If so, which languages do we tap into first, our soul language or our soul family language? I mean, I'm kind of guessing whatever's meant to come through first will. It's not something you force or actively seek, is it, really?
And depending on how you're working, it may be important to know what it is, but generally, I guess even at the beginning, does it really matter in a way? once you connect with that language, whether it's soul, star seed or soul, whatever, then you can work with it and ask, where is this coming from? Who are you from? Is this from here? Is this from there? And you will learn if that's something that you are drawn to do. Like I said, for me, it's not, for me, for what I do, it's not important. No, it's not important. It's not how I work. That's not how I work. But I know for some people, it's important to know, because that's just the process, and that's how they, whatever it is that they're doing. So yeah, whatever, again, it's a trust. You've got to trust and let it come through. And once it comes through, if you want to know more, you can explore more. You can go into it, and you can find as much as you want out on it by being open to the conversation with Source, or with the starseed family you're connecting into, or whatever, and just having that conversation with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's great. Becky's just said it doesn't really matter. I was just wondering. Hey, and you know what, Becky, I'm glad you shared your thoughts, because this is what these lives are about. It's about opening conversation about something that may be completely new to people, or like Claudia here. Claudia has put a comment that she speaks two distinctly different light languages since she was a child, but didn't really know what they were until recent years. So, you know, that's someone who has personally had experience. I know for me, my journey with light language is, I'm still very new. I know, I have this inner knowing that it's something that I will speak, but I also know it's not something I should force. It started, and I've had little phrases drop in that I have no idea what they mean at this stage, and I have kind of asked, what does this mean? In a past life journey, I did get told one of the phrases meant to trust in the soul, but other than that, I'm just kind of just being open and trusting that it will happen and reveal itself in divine timing. And for me, my personal journey, I do believe it is because I am really connecting with my Lyran starseed roots and have been drawn back there. So I feel like that is part of my journey with it. But everyone's is different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think, like Becky commented before, it doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong way. And if you never speak light language, it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean that light language, you can't feel the benefits of light language. So Gaynor has said, I have always felt it has been something comforting, and I used to wonder what it was. Yeah, it is very comforting, and it comes through, Claudia said, it comes through me more while I'm doing creative activity where I'm in flow. Yeah. So you would probably, I don't know if you want to share some of your light codes first with us before you share some light language with us, and maybe just explain a little bit about your personal process when you're creating maybe a light code for a client. What's your journey with that?
When I do a light code for a client, it's I basically sit down and connect in with the frequency and energy, and by them saying they want to work with me, they're giving me permission to do that. So I always need permission. I won't work with anyone and do something specific to a person without their permission, because I just think that's important for sovereignty and for that. I do collective work as well, but that's different because it's not specific to people. It's specific to it's just a collective energy that I connect into. But when I do it, I will sit down and I will just allow with the paper and just let whatever comes through, and I trust the process. Sometimes I'll be halfway through a code and go, nah, this isn't right. I have to tear it up and start again, because I feel that I've left my mind getting in the way of, instead of just letting, you know, the soul and the spirit and the person's soul let me know what needs to go down on the paper. Because sometimes I look at it and go, oh, it doesn't look exactly right. Or, you know, that critical mind will come in, and as soon as that comes in, I have to start all over again. And what I'll do is as I'm going through it, sometimes I will listen to music, sometimes I won't, sometimes I'll light a candle, it just all depends. It's all an intuitive process for me. And sometimes I'll get light language with it, sometimes I won't. I might get a name for it, sometimes I won't. It's a very intuitive process, and it all depends on that frequency the person that I'm working with. Also the openness that they're at, because, you know, if they're fully open, it can be a really huge experience. But if they're a little bit, you know, and that's okay, because what happens is the soul code that when I create meets the person, the client, at their frequency that they're at the moment. So it'll meet them at that frequency, it'll work with that frequency, but as they work with it, it'll continue to meet them. So it's something you could use for the rest of your life, because it'll continue to work with you when you're wherever you're at with your frequency. So it's a very collaborative process, the code itself, working when the person has it to work with. So it supports them and yeah. But and then what I'll do is I'll once it's done, I will sort of sit with it for a minute, see if it's got any information, because normally I'll get a short little brief paragraph or so. Oh, sorry, that was a delivery. Thank you. It's always, isn't it? And I'll get a short paragraph, a word. Sometimes I said I'll get light language that I'll write down for them that they can use when they're connecting with the code. And then I'll go, thank you. Hopefully they've gone. Anyway, sorry about that. And then I will create. I'll create because I hand draw them all. They're all hand drawn. So I hand draw them all. So it can take 2 hours and can take 3 hours. It just depends. I can do it over a few days. I can do it in one sitting. It just all depends on what's needed. And then I'll create it in a digital form and then send it to them with any information, etc. And that's sort of the process at the moment. It's always evolving. Things change. So yeah. But at the moment,
so your soul code oracle deck, obviously,
yeah.
that's you've tuned into universal frequency when you've downloaded those. Would you be able to share some with the ladies that are watching and those that want
sort of,
play?
I don't really, that's just one of them. Is called Embracing the Shadows. Sorry, it's back to front, and it's called Enlightenment. Let me see what other one wants to be shown today. There's one that's called True Heart.
Oh, I love that one.
Freedom.
And so I know when I've connected with soul codes, because I have this deck of yours, and we will share a link after we finish this call. We will share a link for anyone that is interested in purchasing. Are they available?
The cards aren't available at the moment. They're still at the printers. I'm still waiting on a final thing. So, but hopefully in the next month or two, they'll be. I'll have them in my hot little hands. It's hard to tell with the what's going on now with all the COVID stuff that you have delays and stuff. But hopefully in the next couple of months I'll have them. The new decks. So that will be great.
Because I know when I connect with them, and I mean, I guess this is my experience when I've connected with a light code, as in a drawn one, because you also have gifted me one in the past, which I have. It's like whenever I connect with it and I sit with it and look at it, it's like you feel the energy come from that work of art. It's like the frequency is embedded in it, and it's, for me personally, it's like an activation takes place within me. And is that what most people experience when they connect with a light code, would you say? And if anyone wants to share in the comments their experience when they've connected with light codes?
Yeah, it all depends on, when you look at a code, how open you are to the experience, what your soul needs. Because sometimes it'll activate something. You'll look at it and it'll be an activation, or a clearing could happen, or a knowing could happen, or a remembrance can happen, or something. They act as what's the word? I've lost the word in my it can act as a portal. It can act as an activation. It can act as an experience of some sort. I don't like the word, it's a, catalyst isn't the right word, but you know what I mean when I say I can't remember the word now, but it's sort of, it's that activation of that frequency, and also that it holds, because each code holds a particular frequency and vibration. So and so when you look at it, you're connecting into that frequency and vibration, and then it's your experience, and what happens from there, it is your experience, and where you get taken is where you need to go at this particular time that this code is, I guess, activating or connecting you to. So because like when I created my deck, I don't have a guidebook because of that reason, because it's a personal experience. It's, if I write down this is what this is meant to bring you in, your conscious mind is going to, and that is going to take you down that route instead of allowing you to have your own experience. So that's why there isn't, and I was clearly told when I was bringing it through, there is no guidebook, because this has to be an individual process and a very sacred, individual, unique process to each person, because with each code, because like I said, 2 people can look at the same code, 3 people can look at the same code and have a completely different understanding or experience of it, and that's what it's meant to be. Yeah.
So yeah, Claudia's shared when you held up the second one, she felt a lump in her throat, and she's now aware she needs to do some work in that area. So that was the impact on that. And I think too, you know, like you said, 2 different people could have different experience, but the same person could have a different experience with the same card on a different day, depending on where they're at, what's going on in their life. Angelique also shared with it, she sent me a picture of a light code she's had tattooed on her body. Feel free to share that in the group, Angelique, if you would like to. If not, that's totally okay. And I know, Eileen, you have had several clients have their soul codes tattooed on their body. Some of them specifically come to you saying that's the purpose of this soul code. I want to tattoo it on my body.
They have, which always blows me away.
Really,
it blows me away when I see a thing. Wow, you know, it's just it's amazing that they've opened up to working with it at such a deep and personal level. It's just
and such a permanent connection to that.
Especially, I've had a few do it on their chest. I've had 2 clients have got it on their chest. I'm thinking that is a really prominent place to have it. It's like, which is wonderful for them, because that's where they felt that, you know, that's where it needed to be, and which is wonderful for them, which is great.
Oh, I love that. I mean, I do, one of my tattoos was an intuited, it was a light code, but it's a very different form of light code to what you have. So there are different forms. Where mine has some lines and active and time grid lines, but there's also a dragonfly and a moon in mine, where others like yours are a lot more symbolic. It's just a different form.
Well, I guess
yes,
the issue is I'm not an artist, traditional artist. So a lot of and I see these beautiful codes, and I wish I could incorporate a dragonfly or wolf, but that's just not, I'm not that traditional artist. So that's why mine are just that way, because that's how I work, you know. And it's
I don't think it's not the fact that you're not an artist. It's just not the form of so-called you have been asked to do. You've been guided to do it in a specific way. It's not that one's better than the other.
I know. It's just I'm different. I just don't have the skill set to be able to do that realism type thing in things, which is I've seen some codes that are just divine when they're like that. It's like, oh wow, you know. And I've had clients come to me saying, oh, can you do that for me? I said, it's not my zone of genius, but I know who can do it for you. So I always recommend and get them to go move them, because I'm not going to try, because I know it's not what I do. So you know, and I don't want to waste their time, and you know, and doing it and then they become disappointed and might get disillusioned and not want to do it, and they really want to have that code created. So it's like, it's always, you know, I can't do it for you, but hey, try this person. They'll be, you know, they're really good. And so that's what I normally do in those situations.
So I would really love for you to share some light language with us. I don't know, in whichever way you're guided to share that with us. And I invite everyone to maybe just allow yourself to close your eyes and just really feel the language that Eileen shares with us.
Shikanosi, Hanokotishana ho, Lima soni, Kanoshi, Rumikata soni, Hasonako, Huni kasona, Sino kashi, Hinokama sina, Riko, Shina hoya, Sinoksa, Onasi kona, Himondatsi kona sona, Hoshina ho, Unahi, Hina hoa, Uya, Uya, Huna, Nikasohi tiho hia, Hosina kosi, Hona kotaposina hona, Ula nikotisa, Hona pushina, Hoshina ko, Unaho, Unaho, Ua, ya, Unakasi, ha, ya, Unikasina hotisa, na, ni aona, Hinakotisa ho, Hinako ho, Rima kotiha, Hanokisa, Hunikato sinakomina sunikasi, Unikata, Hinakosina hoya, Hina, Unika, Unikasi, Sino, Shina, Honia, Una, Hina, Rima kotisa no ho, Hinakosiha, no, Hinakosia, Hua, Hina, Rima kasono, Hitakoho, Nisaho.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you.
How did everyone find that? Feel free to share in the comments. That was beautiful. Do you, so when you speak light language, do you know what that meant?
Sometimes not. That one was, there's not the feeling that I get from it. It was just about, an activation of a release of some sort, like just a letting go and seeing like the joy in it all, because I think that's what we're lacking at the moment, that joyness. So that's sort of about coming in and to release that or to activate the joy again in a lot of things, and to let go and laugh basically, and just have some fun. Sometimes there can be a message. I don't try to overthink it. Again, it's one of those things, I just want it to be that experiential experience where you find it for yourself and you experience it yourself. Because again, I find words can be limiting and it can influence. And so the way I work is I try not to influence it too much, because I want, the person to have their own experience. But yeah, sometimes I'm specifically told this is what this means. And so I will give those information out too.
Well, Becky said that was very yummy and extremely cleansing. And I have to agree, I felt a massive expansion, and I really felt the joy in that. Like it was very yummy, wasn't it, Becky? And amazing, Claudia said, I felt the shift. Thank you. Becky also said, I had lots of shifts. Thank you. Lovely from Angelique. It's like it is a very different accent to a friend of hers, which we've talked about, how there's different dialects. Claudia said she felt the joy. Gaynor said, beautiful, thanks. For me was lots for me, and we are we. So a lot of that. Beautiful. So I'm not sure if anyone else has any questions before we wind up today for this beautiful chat. I'll get Eileen to pop her contact details under this video if anyone wants to contact her or follow her on socials, or contact her about having a soul code done, or grabbing a deck of her oracle cards when they're available. Then just reach out and get in touch with Eileen.
I'd like to also, what I'll do I'll also, I've got a light code meditation connection practice that I created a while back. What I'm going to do is I'll pop the link in there and I'll give you a code so you can just download it for free and you can work with it if you want to. It's just got some basic codes and a little practice that if you want to work, start, working with them or activating yourself, if you want to do more, you can have a go with that. So I'll pop that link in there for you guys for joining, to say thank you for listening to me ramble on.
Thank you so much. That's really generous of you, Eileen. I'm excited to use that myself and experience that. So thank you so much. Gaynor says, thank you so much. I really enjoyed the live. We finally got there after the initial technical difficulties. Hopefully I will have the Zoom streaming sorted before my next one. Becky says, feel gratitude in a way of being is galactic terms, trying to teach us humans gratitude. It's the answer for so many things, everything. Yeah, beautiful, Becky. Thanks again. Yeah, you're welcome, Gaynor. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much to everyone that joined live. Anyone that's watching the replay, please feel free, just comment #replay. And if you have any questions, anyone watching the replay, pop it in the comments and maybe just tag Eileen, and then Eileen can still answer any questions we may not have covered in today's chat, because you may have had you may have had some questions pop to mind after listening, especially if this is all new to you. So I really love chatting with you today, Eileen.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's such a beautiful gift to the world, light language and light codes, and I love that we could share it with everyone in the group today.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that you give me the opportunity.
You're welcome. Have a beautiful day, everyone, and we will see you in the group soon. Okay,
bye. Thank you.